Okay.
And what is it, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I got 4:01.
Okay. So let's talk about our next meeting. Did you guys want to take August off and resume in September?
Sounds good to
That's
me.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Unless there's anything really pressing, which I don't know that there is.
Now there's all of the usual suspects for Habitat for Humanity are running the show over there at 808 Jerusalem. So I think they will not miss us if we're not on.
Yeah.
So Cassandra, it looks like it would be the 17th or the 24th of September.
24th would be better for me.
Okay, I have it as the 17th presently, but I can switch
Okay.
it to, well, let me
everybody-
just double
Okay.
check before
Yeah.
I say yes, but
17th would be best.
17th would be
Uh,
better for you.
Well, unless you want the 24th, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
I can do either one.
Okay.
Beth, you have a issue with the 17th?
Yeah, it's my daughter's birthday, and I think she's going to be up from Charleston then. So
24?
Yeah.
24th works.
So be okay. Is that okay, Cassandra?
yes, the 24th is fine. I can switch it to that day.
Thank you.
Okay. 9/24/24 it is.
Sounds good.
So we'll skip August. Thank you. We do that at Elder Affairs. We skip the month of August at Elder Affairs as well. So I just wanted to kind of be consistent. I didn't want, Beth to have to work during her month off from Elder Affairs, because she's the Elder Affairs representative.
Thank you. That was very considerate.
Okay, so first thing on the agenda is affordable housing development sites or any updates. I don't have any that I could give an update on right now. I don't know where 147 South Main is. He was the gentleman across from St. Anthony's that put up the apartments there. He was going to start renting one of them out as affordable while he processes the paperwork for deeds. I'll have to check with the housing trust to see if he's still on track to do that. He finally paid the sewer hookup fee, so
I believe
So-
the last update that I had from John Hallen, who was looking to get a copy of the contract from him, was that he had a signed letter stating that he was on contract with a lottery agency. I have not seen a copy of that as of yet, though. So
okay.
that's just what I've heard by word of mouth.
Okay.
Cassandra,
He has all rental signs up on there,
Yeah, he doesn't have an occupancy permit yet, so he should get one by now. He just there was a privilege and hookup fee of sewer he had to pay before they would sign off on it. So I think he just paid that this week. So I think we'll find out. I have a sewer meeting tomorrow at on Thursday. I'm sorry, Thursday sewer meeting. So I'll get my update there.
Cassandra,
The
I have
other-
a question on that project, though. It's not having anything bearing on us, but I was just curious. Is there not anything in planning that requires him to do more than just put gravel everywhere? It looks pretty horrible.
Like landscaping?
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head if there was a specific landscape plan. I think there was, so it could be that he's just at a stage of the project where he hasn't installed the landscape. Typically this time of the year is obviously not a great time to be installing new plants with the heat waves, so it could be that he's going to be holding off until the fall when it's a better time to plant.
So that's kind of like the guy at Stop and Shop where it's still all gravel and,
That I don't know. He's been installed for quite some time, so
I
that
know.
shouldn't
It
be an
still looks
excuse on whether.
terrible. Still looks terrible. Anyway, just wondering, if you knew if there were any requirements that are not being met there.
Off the top of my head, I don't think so. The building inspector goes over there pretty frequently and is in contact with him, so I'm sure that if there was something that he was not doing that he's supposed to be doing or doesn't have a plan to do that he's supposed to do, I'm sure John would flag that. but I suspect that it's likely due to the fact that we've just had so many heat waves that at this point, installing any sort of plants would just be the death of them.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand it for that one, but not for Stop and Shop. But anyway, let's
Correct.
keep going.
Yeah, so the next update I have is 1 Pleasant Street. As you recall, the planning board changed the property's use from apartments to condominiums. So with that change, we now only get credit for 4 units. And so they are now moving forward with completing that facility. And it looks like it'll be the 14 apartments, and the first floor is going to be a private school, is what we're being told.
You mean condos?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 14 condos. Yep.
Okay.
So, you know, we received notification from the building inspector that they want to move ahead with their plans. So they're gonna, you know, go in front of sewer to get that finalized and then be on their way. So, believe that property already has 4 deed restricted. Is that true, Cassandra?
So they're currently working on their LAU agreement.
Okay.
That should be hopefully finalized somewhat soon to be sent off to the state for approval.
Okay. Super. Let's see, I can't think of any other projects off the top of my head. I missed, fortunately, a meeting with the Housing Trust this past month. Though I did reach out to the chairman there and showed him some potential areas of that could be built. So we would just need to check on that. I did check on the property of specifically Esposito Landscaping was on the corner of Pond Street and 3A. So that looks like it can be built property. In fact, there's septic already there. That's been there for quite some time. So that's something that we will probably take a look at in September. I went over it with the building inspector. We looked at the property, we looked at the wetlands, so there's some potential there to be able to do it. It just needs more investigation, that's all. And then we'll work with the trust to find out, you know, what they would like to do.
How large a buildable area is it?
I don't know. We received basically aerial or topical area views of the property. It wasn't to scale, so I'm not sure if it's 5 acres or 7 acres. And then I'd have to understand how much of it was wetlands.
Right.
It doesn't matter how much is wetlands. It just matters where the dry land abuts the wetland, you know, how much
Right.
space is there, because you have to have
Yeah, you have to stay
the
50 feet back, I
right.
think.
yeah.
So will he send something to you that you can forward on to us that will show us how large the area is that's buildable?
Yeah, actually, I have share my screen.
So what are you talking about doing that? You're talking about that could get transferred to the trust and they could potentially sell it to someone who might want to develop it somehow?
Correct. Because the town purchased the property with the intent of putting a police or fire station there.
Right.
And now that they went down to Lower King instead, they don't need the Esposito property. So, let's see here. So, share my screen. Share my screen.
Do you know how much we paid for it?
How much did they pay for the property? The town?
Yeah.
I would think 400 to 600, somewhere in that range.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe you can just forward this to us Paul, and then we could try to digest it later.
Right, so this is what is here. And this is what the wetlands look like, right? The blue stuff.
Yeah,
So if you take a look at the land, it looks like, boy, I can put up, 80 condos here, right?
Hmm.
And then when you
No.
then when you drop the wetlands in, you're like, oh no. But as you can see, there is a lot of gray area here that you can build on. Right here where my mouse is where the septic system is.
Oh, okay, right
So
up by the
this-
street.
Yeah, and I believe right here, he said we can also build and tie into the septic, so. And this
And
is
what
just kind of,
area is towards the
this is-
back.
get back here can be as well, you would access this from King Street. This is
Okay.
King Street right here.
Okay, okay,
This is Pond Street right here,
yeah.
and of course 3A right here.
So the gray is buildable, correct?
Correct.
where is the nursery building right now, where the septic is?
Right, what you see where my mouse is moving back and
Got it.
forth? Yes,
Yeah.
right there.
Where the septic is, I guess. Yeah, can you email that to us then, Paul?
I can.
Okay, that'd be
This is
helpful.
it's called 585 CJC.
Okay,
So I sent this to the housing trust saying, hey, this one looks like it has the potential because it already has septic.
yeah.
Um, I will tell you that, what may help or enhance the property is, there is a large state project going on between Pond Street and Booth Hill Road in Situate, which is the second street in Situate off of 3A. So the first street into Situate is the left, if you're leaving town, it's the left turn there by the tennis or the swim club there that turns into Situate. The entire 3A section is going to be enhanced with sidewalks and crosswalks and repaving and bicycle lanes, and they're going to put a set of lights up there in Situate where there's that left only is. There'll be a full set of lights there.
Oh, wow.
So it's all in process. So I would suspect you'll start to see activity there, I would think in September, if not sooner. But it's all moving forward. I think the planning board sent out a few things to let people know it's happening. I don't know how involved the planning board is with it. I saw it from one of the emails that went out that said, hey, this is what's coming. I don't know. I forget what department sent it out, but that's what's coming. So there's some of it that'll affect this area. I don't know how much of it. But we'll see, because I don't know what the setback is from the street for the town to put sidewalks and curbing and all that. So
They
But there are
do it
sidewalks,
both sides?
I don't think so. Cassandra, do you know much about that 3A project?
I don't have a lot of background on it. It's likely that you received notification from Charlotte and the Conservation Commission because they've done a submittal through her. The planning board hasn't had involvement with that.
They haven't. Okay. Yeah, maybe I got it from Brian Joyce then, because I know one of the groups has sent it out.
but the sidewalks are not going to continue then, Paul, all the way up to Sawyer?
Oh. Everything ends right in this area. Some of it goes to Pond Street and stops. Some of it ends over here by Schofield, right here. It's mainly the Beechwood 3A intersection to Situate is their primary focus, but for whatever reason, stuff got extended up in this area.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about, should this area become developable with any kind of apartments or something like that, where kids could walk to the high school if they had a sidewalk along there, but there's not a sidewalk now.
So
I mean,
That's a
there is
different,
on,
that's a different, so that's a different group in town called the Roads, Bridges and Sidewalk Committee, I believe, something to that effect.
I know.
They
I've
are pushing for sidewalks down pond here to connect Beechwood to the school so you can walk to school, that kind of thing. So this area is on somebody's radar. So I can find out once we figure out if this is viable, which I believe it is. Whether it's a cape or, multiple capes, I have no idea. So that's the only other project I can think of. And there are other areas of land in town that I looked at with the building inspector that we can take a look at, but I thought I would just not throw 2 or 3 properties out there, but just put one up here that already has septic, because that's the easiest thing to do, to see what can be done. So I can certainly send this out and share it with you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Are the others in this area of town too, or are they scattered all over?
There's let me let's see. Two. There is bear with me here. The other one is I'm going to show you this area. So this area is Mary's neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the end of Evergreen. And this area highlighted in yellow that's not colored in. This is the Osgood School back here. This is the Deerhill School up here. So this, I believe, is 5 to 7 acres. This over here, or the combination of the two, is 7 acres. I have to find that out. This has access from 3A right here. There is something about this parcel that I need to speak to one of the town departments on, but I believe this is buildable along with this area here.
Wow.
So we brought this up when we first started our committee back in the day. And we spent our 2 years or 3 years working on, how many houses do we have and how many are affordable. Took us a while to find out where we were, but these are the two lots that they have potential. As you can see, the wetlands is here. So that's not an issue. This is Stop and Shop right here. This is the new building is over here.
Right.
This is the Cook Estates over here.
Okay.
So everyone is on sewer. This property could be hooked to sewer because sewer now runs down 3A to Veteran Station.
Oh, good.
So that could be hooked to sewer. And of course, everyone back here is already on sewer.
Yes, ma'am.
So that could be put directly on sewer as well. So right now, these residents on 3A do not have sewer, they're on septic.
Oh,
But
wow.
now that Stop and Shop ran sewer all the way down, people have the right to connect to it as long as they pay to be connected.
Yeah. Well,
So
those
that-
seem like very viable locations also.
Right, right. So, Evergreen would be nice if you could put just maybe 2 or 3 houses here that are, an affordable size home for people.
Yeah, modest.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be McMansion, just whatever we think can fit there. So you can see if you've ever been over there, you can drive down Evergreen. For whatever reason, they stopped right here. They never moved forward. So I don't know why they didn't wrap around over here and just kind of dead end the street here or something. But
Yeah, but
anyway.
they could do cluster housing where you'd have smaller lot sizes override the zoning lot size to be able to do higher density and get several,
Yep.
like at Wheelwright Park or here in 100 Pond Street or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the two properties that, I took a look at. The trust, I sent these over to them, but we haven't had time to talk about them yet. I can certainly get these out. I don't have a property number for these. I'm just calling it Evergreen.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but if you send both of those, then we'll at least have them to refer back to in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Gee, thanks for all that, Paul.
So there's
Yeah.
that. There is other property that we could take a look at. Figured I'd start with these smaller ones before we head to the bigger ones, because there's another swath of land that is town owned, that is on sewer, that is about 7 or 8 acres as well.
Hmm.
So
Great.
that's another property we talked about 7 years ago or 6 years ago. I can't remember how long we've been here. About putting 40R housing, right? So smaller dwellings that are, I don't even know what 40R is anymore. I don't know if it's 900 square feet to, 1,200 square feet homes. I forget what it is. Or some sort of workforce housing. So
Yep.
that other property.
Is that the land that's up behind Town Hall?
No, what's up behind Town Hall is 4 acres of land that's privately owned. That was offered in a proposal when they were looking at rebuilding the town.
So where is this one? 7 acres. I can't think where there's 7 acres.
Yeah, I'll take a look at my notes again.
That's a large tract of land.
Yeah. So that's what I have as far as any affordable housing development sites.
Wow.
So the next thing would be subcommittee updates. So I don't know if Mary has any updates on Habitat.
Well, I thought Tamara was going to be on today, but that's fine. I checked in with her yesterday. As we all can see, the duplex is moving along. They've got one floor framed in, and she said next week the framers are coming back, and they're all the company's volunteering the time and the materials. So next week they're coming back to do the second floor. So that's such a great idea. I think she said she's had 10 groups come in to volunteer so far.
Yep.
And I also asked her about fundraising, and she said they're not doing anything really specific right now, but she says by the time the project is finished, she expects to have it fully, it'll be fully funded, and there's not going to be any shortfall or anything like that. She was on vacation last week, so I as I said, I just got a last minute update yesterday. So let's see what else she said. I don't know if you saw, they're having a golf tournament in October.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
they're on Facebook a lot. I've been trying to get notices in the Stroll and the Anchor, and I've had very little luck finding a connection, a way to, I tried a couple of email place addresses and they came back. So I'm still going to work on it, but I'm just surprised that those two places haven't, risen to the occasion and kind of given us publicity. But like I said, I'm trying to work on that, and so we'll see. I know they lost their community outreach person at Habitat, and I think they're advertising for
I think they lost
what?
the volunteer coordinator, Melissa Boynton.
What? She quit,
She's
right?
gone.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. She left.
Right.
So they're looking for a new person, and I think they've advertised for it. So hopefully that'll happen soon. I mean, it's a
Okay.
great job. But anyway, that's all I have. As I said, things are moving along. I thought she'd be on, so I didn't get much more information because I thought she could fill us in. She was in the car, and it was last minute last night. But that's where things are now. And if I get a better update from her in the next couple of days, I'll just send it to you about anything that we need to take care of. But it looks like it's out of our hands now. They're doing what they do. And, I appreciate everybody's help and support with us so far. So glad to see it moving along.
Awesome.
Well, I have a couple of updates on it as well. This is a time to jump in. I had approached Hingham Lumber about whether they would be willing to offer the 4 vanities for the 4 bathrooms. And that was a long time ago, but I, kept patiently or impatiently waiting. And then I finally got a call back, and they are going to offer all 4 of the vanities, which would ordinarily be 4 vanities. 3 of them are 54 inches and 1 is 48 inches. Plus the countertop with a sink,
Wow.
which normally would be $12,000 for all 4 of them. They're going to do it for $325 each, or $1,300. So it's
Wow.
only
That's
10%
great.
of what it would have been. So that's
For
really
you.
Good
that's
for you.
really
Thank you.
so that saves them about $11,000 almost.
Yeah.
What'd you say, 1350 total?
No, it's going to be $1,300, $325 each vanity and sink.
Wow.
No, that's terrific.
And
for you.
the sizes can be adjusted according to what, sometimes when they're in the field, or, they're actually building, they end up tweaking things a little bit.
Yeah.
So she said that they could adjust them, so I'm really excited about that. And I tried to get in touch with Tamara, but I guess she was on vacation last week. So I got in touch with Beth Lyons, who is the executive director, and just, reported it in to her. So she knows what's going on. So she's
Good for you.
excited. Yeah. And then just as another PS, our church is going to do a build day on October 5th, Saturday, October 5th. So that's the Hingham Congregational Church. And then
Good
we're
for
going to
you.
do another one next spring. So we're going to do 2.
So there
Thank
was a press release that came out. I get these in my Cohasset email updates. There's like a South Shore Habitat sends out an email blast to, I think, everyone on the town email list. And it did thank Congregation for their participation. And it listed, I think, 8 or 10
Is that what you mean?
groups that had volunteered. So it was, let's see here. Now, of course, now I don't have it. I just looked it up to see if I still have it, but
Yeah, our church sent them a check. So we've
Yes.
donated directly to this site. I mean, we send a check that goes to Habitat South Shore, but we sent another one that's it's earmarked for this 808 Jerusalem project.
Neat.
Plus we have the group that's going to be volunteering October 5th, and then another group next spring.
yeah, so here's what they said. They wanted to thank 808 and 810 Jerusalem Road. So they had Travelers, Rockland Trust, CMAS, United Church of Christ in Norwell, First Parish Church in Cohasset, Whitecap, MIB, and many individuals who gave their time and talent.
Oh, neat.
So that's been it. So on their latest update that went out in an email blast Friday.
Okay, great.
So that was Beth Lyons who sends that email out.
Yeah.
So
And
I
you-
get those.
Yeah, the UCC in Norwell has been very involved with Habitat. So it's good. They probably donated as well. So that's great. Yeah. Any response yet, that you know of at St. Anthony's or any of the other churches?
I haven't heard from them. I know they're working 2 programs, and I think they're working with ASP as well. I think they're kind of teaming up on ASP together. I'll double check with him again to see what he can do for volunteers. I know that, most of the kids are away for the summer, so unless he's planning on putting something together after school starts, when they have,
Yeah,
It's-
our group is gonna be adults, because they can,
Yeah.
you can't have anybody under 16 on the site, or under 18, I think it is, working the electric power tools. So an adult group would be welcome too.
yeah, I did mention that to him because they talked about trying to get some groups together just to kind of break the ice on stuff, just to get people together. Yep. Any more updates at all?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the update committee members, in which I sent a letter to the select board. So I am going to the select board meeting tonight. I have a tentative schedule here, in which board and committee interviews and appointments will be made at around the 7:30 timeframe.
Oh, okay.
So,
And Paul, I wrote back to Maria, is that her name? I have COVID, so I can't go in person to that meeting tonight, but I'll do it on Zoom.
okay.
I can
Um,
show, I can go and support, help support, so.
Well, I was planning to go too, and also, someone was saying that they want us to make comments about Diane. This is on a different topic, but have
So,
you-
yeah, so
About what,
let's
Beth?
not,
sorry,
let's-
can we
yeah, let's
talk
go.
separately?
yeah, we'll talk about it separately. So right now, for the select board, we're on for two things. One is, we want to change our committee makeup, and we also want to appoint two people. I submitted all that a couple of weeks ago to the select board to put on the agenda, so now it's on the agenda. So basically, the red line that I sent out was that we want to report to the select board annually instead of quarterly. We want our committee to go from 7 people down to 5 people. So then we only need 3 for a quorum.
Yep.
So right now we're supposed to have 7 people, with 4 being a quorum. That's why the 4 of us always have to be here. So we used to have a seat for the planning board, and then master planning group was on. So those two groups, planning board said they're too busy. Plus we have the town planner. Do I have that right?
Yes,
Yes.
that is my title.
Yeah, because they had planning director before, so now a town planner, right? Okay, yeah. So she can fill us in just as easy as the planning board member. So what we have now is so we're requesting it drop down to 5, and those 5 people would be 3 citizen at large, and then 1 representative from the housing authority and 1 representative from elder affairs. And then we said that we would what we would do, yeah, master planning, we would get rid of that, and the liaison, get rid of the liaison from master plan, get rid of liaison from select board. We would just report to them once a year, and then the committee will go by the town bylaws and select a chairman once a year, instead of a chairman, a vice chairman, a secretary. We don't just have enough people to fill all those roles, so. And they had no officer shall serve more than 3 years, but I struck all that out and just said, let's just go by the town bylaws. So that's what's in front of them tonight. If they say yes, then I checked with the clerk's office. They only have 4 people as active members of the housing steering committee, which is the 4 of us. So we're missing, there's an open seat that is vacant. And what we recommended was that Susan Sardina be moved to the vacant seat, and that Fred Coed be put in as the housing authority representative.
Right.
So that's what's in front of. And that's what I'm presenting tonight. Now, I have been contacted by a town resident who's also a town employee who submitted an application to be on the committee. And so this person is Stephanie Saunders. She is the social worker for 3 towns, Cohasset, Hingham, and Situate, I think. She contacted me a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, I'm just really want to get involved in affordable housing because this is what I do. Is my job is to help people find housing and help them get where they need to be. And I said, well, we really don't. It's not what we do. We're looking at, basically it's new construction. When people put in housing, that's what we do. So I kind of reached out to Town Hall to find out what's the rule on having an employee of the town on a board and committee who's also a resident in the town. That there's nothing against doing that. It's just that there's some additional guidelines that they need to be aware of as they are a town employee and a town resident. So then the question is, I posed was one of our positions that's permanent is the ex officio, which is the town planner. And that just means it's an additional person that we deemed needed for this board to succeed. And that person is a town employee, and that position that person holds is important to the success of the committee itself. So whether it's Cassandra in that role or whoever else comes into that role, that position is always there for them. And we don't have to have the select board approve a person. It's just that position's always there. So the question I have for the committee is, want to keep it the way it is, which is 5 people and the town planner. Do we want to add an additional ex officio position where the town social worker, no matter who it is, will always be on our board? Or do we want to create a associate position that is non-voting? And if we have an associate position that's non-voting, that person doesn't affect whether we have a quorum or not, but participates in the conversations, but does not vote on moving something forward.
Would it be a ding against us if we do an associate person, but we don't, like, say at times it's vacant? Does that matter? Do we always have
No.
to find a person to be that associate?
Right, so the way that it works at Elder Affairs is we have 3 associate positions. So
Yeah.
they get appointed by the select board to a 3-year term.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect a quorum because they're non-voting.
Right.
So if they don't show up, it doesn't affect us on having a public meeting.
Right.
So would we need to state who that ex officio person, what that role is, that it's the, well, one is Cassandra, the town planner. So that's already stated. And then the other would be what you're saying is the social worker, whoever it might be, whether it's this, I don't know, what was her name, Stephanie or whatever.
Correct.
Is
Or
she the one that sat in on some of our meetings? Like she?
No.
Oh, that was
No.
somebody. I think you should only have one ex officio. I mean, there's
I-
something
I
about
agree.
officio that means there's one of them and they're special.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
usually-
There's one special person, and that is Cassandra. So
So I
Okay.
don't
Don't
wanna.
vote me
I
out so
don't wanna go
quickly.
there. I don't want to go there. I'm like fine with my one focal point.
Yes.
So the
So
other
I
one,
agree.
would-
I didn't
You'll
want
see
it to be, I didn't want it to be confusing to people either. To have multiple ones, though.
Yeah, most boards that my
Don't.
experience recently, it's like one person if you have it, but
Right.
so I think the associate member may be a good solution because we've just wrestled with, shifting numbers and we're trying to simplify the quorum, so I think that we don't want to like add another spot after we just asked them to cut it back. So
totally
I
agree
know.
on that.
Well,
I
the question is, do we really, do we need the social worker, first of all?
or
To
can
be
she,
or do we need an associate member? We had a hard time with 7 people. The 2 people never showed up.
yeah, I
So-
feel like that would almost complicate things when we're trying to simplify things. And I know we kind of went through this at the Friends of the Library Board. It was set up for like a giant group from way back when, and we were down to a handful of people. So we rewrote all the bylaws so that we weren't violating anything, and we were down to just could have a simple quorum of like 3 people,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is,
think-
this is
and-
Mary.
Steve-
My
Mary.
opinion is, we only meet for an hour, once a month. To me, if this person's interested and feels she has interest and input, she can join the meeting anytime, but I don't think we have to complicate things with an extra particular position.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I was
Paula,
gonna say that might be the solution. If she wants to just come every month, we can make sure we let her
Yeah.
know. Come hang and, but also to your point, Paul, we don't do anything that really would help her figure out where she could place people in housing.
well, that's what I was gonna say. It seems
Well,
like
the
what
housing authority.
is not tying in with what we're doing.
Right. So there is a level of advocacy that we do by helping contractors who are coming in. And we're seeking to, obviously convince them to do apartments instead of condos. But also, as we did work with CJC on trying to help advocate for him throughout the town and throughout the different departments to help get us to count those 22 units for the 2020 census. And then obviously when we worked on 1 Pleasant Street, trying to convince folks to keep it as apartments, so we get credit for all 14. Work with folks like the guy at 147 South Main who, needed some help, and we've worked with him and led him to the trust to where they could fund the help that he needed to work through getting himself registered with the state. So that's what we do.
But none of that is necessarily related to her social worker position.
Right. So, well, that's why I wanted to bring it up. I've talked to her quite a bit. She'll be there tonight, I believe. But I'm in agreement with the board of leaving the 5 seats there. And then, if 6 months down the road, we feel that we could really use input from a social worker, we could talk about it at that point. I don't know that we've tried to get people to take these other positions, and we couldn't find anyone to fill a board seat. So even the person who joined our meeting a couple of times, we asked her to apply for an open seat, and she never did. So, but certainly, it's somebody that we can lean on and somebody we can talk to. This all came up because of some adverse effects to the preserve, which is the former Avalon properties. So she directly involved in there. I got involved in this a couple of months ago because the chairwoman of the select board contacted me because Avalon went in front of the town to say, hey, we're raising our rates and it's going to affect the affordable housing people. our state congresswoman, our state representative, Joe Machino went there to oppose it. I was on remote to oppose it. And, then they sent me the agreement to review on behalf of the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. So I reviewed it, sent back my comments, but nothing ever came of it. And now this person who is the social worker has been trying to help people that have to move out of there because they can't afford it, find other housing. And I said, well, it's not really what we do. So
Yeah.
that's how I got involved.
Not under our purview.
Well, and I think we have, you know, I was out doing errands today and I was driving around and thinking how proud I was to be involved with this group of people who all have our own houses and do fine, but we are advocates for people who are less fortunate. And I think we're really good at that. And we're very mindful of that. And so I'm not sure that there's a value added to have another person who you know, with some kind of permanent status that we have to deal with every few years or whatever. But again, I think, you know, we can certainly invite her to come every now and then if she'd feel better about having a role, and, you know, or come on her own. But as I said, I think we're all pretty strong advocates for what she's hoping to advocate for herself. But if she needs information or want feedback from us on various proposals and stuff, to me, she's welcome to come. But as you said, we've already gone through the hoops of trying to change things and making it more complicated at this point. That would be my argument to her, is we've just gone through this change. We're really not in a position to complicate things anymore, but we should look down the line, you know, 6 months in the future to see, you know, if this would be beneficial.
Okay. So, so we will stick to the original plan of, going down from 7 to 5 as submitted to the select board. And, it shall be 3 residents at large, 1 representative from housing and 1 from council on elder affairs.
Which of you is the representative from Elder Affairs?
It's, Beth.
Okay.
So I'd like a motion.
And Fred is available to come to these meetings and join us?
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the steering committee charge to go from 7 people to 5 with 3 resident positions at large, 1 from Housing Authority and 1 on Council of Elder Affairs. And to conform to the Cohasset Town bylaws on choosing a chairman once a year and reporting annually to the select board.
Okay, so do we move
Wanna
to approve that?
Second the motion, somebody?
I move to
moved.
make,
Okay, Susan, second the motion.
Go ahead,
Second.
Mary.
Okay, yeah, a wave doesn't count. So we'll do a roll call vote. Paul Kears, aye.
aye,
Mary is on aye.
sorry.
Susan's aye.
Okay,
Aye.
okay. So the motion has been approved, so I will go in front of the select board tonight with a new updated committee charge to do exactly that by voting. And once they approve the 5 voting, then we'll ask them to appoint Susan to the open seat and then Fred to the Housing Authority.
So do you know, is Fred going to the meeting tonight also?
I hope so. I sent emails out to Happy, never heard back from her, so I don't know if he conveyed that to Fred or not.
Okay, because it indicated on the email that I got from Maria, I think her name is, that there's like an interview process. So I don't know.
I
what
was
that
just
is.
gonna say, Paul, did you see my email about Fred filling out that form online?
I did, I forwarded that, but I haven't heard from no one, so.
Okay, because he's likely going to need to fill that out prior to them appointing him.
I've heard from many people that they're having trouble when they fill it out online, it's not going through.
Not going through, right?
Interesting. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody mentioned it to me the other day and it was mentioned at our Elder Affairs meeting. So there's something wrong with if you want to give somebody feedback, there's something wrong with the application process.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
I think I'll
When
provide-
when you go online, you fill it out. At the end, it says, "Hey, thanks, but email this to Tracy." But it doesn't tell you how to do that.
Oh,
So I think people are having a problem with that part of it.
okay.
Um,
She's on
Well, that's-
vacation this week,
so I
but
had
I
to go,
can.
I had to go find her email and then cut and paste it and put it in and get mine over to her. So there were a lot of
Interesting.
problems early on. I don't know if they fixed it since then, but
Okay, I
I
will,
think someone just said-
I'll reach out to
Thank you.
Tracy when she's back on vacation, but I'll also reach out to our communication specialist. He might be able to edit that in the website as well.
I don't know if Fred has filled anything out on his own or Housing Authority did. I have no idea. So I'm going to ask for that approval, and if they say not until I see Fred, then or Fred
And
might be.
that's what it is.
I don't know. So
They'll have to see me through Zoom because I can't go anywhere with COVID, so as it is.
you're already appointed.
Okay, but I didn't know if, because I have to change titles, if you will,
Right.
if there was any difference. I don't know. So
It's
does that
likely
mean,
that they will have to like officially move you into a new seat, which may almost sort of like create a new term for you. Like technically your term expires next year, but whereas you're moving into a new seat, it may reset your term.
okay,
So it won't reset the time because it would be filling a vacancy that expires in 2025 as well.
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it's done at Elder Affairs as well. You're filling somebody else's term and that term ends. Same thing when I was appointed as a sewer commissioner because one of the commissioners passed away. And then I found out 5 months later I had to run for a seat because it expired.
Yeah.
So
This term
I
will
believe-
only end next year then as well, because that's what my term would be. Is that what you're saying?
everybody expires in 2025.
Okay, got it. All right.
We're all appointed at the same time to a 3-year position.
Okay,
From there, that's how it is.
okay.
So we're stuck with each other for another year.
What
All
happened?
on Zoom.
They might actually have the Habitat House up by then.
Yeah.
Well, it better be.
Maybe we'll take turns cutting the grass over there.
It's moving along.
Okay, so with that said, I am in Wilmington, so I have to leave here and hopefully get to Cohasset in time for the select board meeting. I will say that there is an open position that at the Department of Elder Affairs because of the director that was there before took ill and in December the role was filled by the assistant director, and so then the director did retire officially. So Diane Pico is the assistant director who's been filling in as director of Elder Affairs. And they decided to do a worldwide search to fill that position, in which she was one of the applicants. And so they interviewed a couple of folks. I was on that committee to interview people.
Oh, you were? I thought they didn't let you on. They did?
They did, yep.
Oh, good.
So I was on the original worldwide search committee 5 years ago, and we appointed Nancy when she was the associate director. So I've been working with the team for several weeks, going through the interviewing of applicants and mulling over all of the pros and cons of everything, and it went well. The process is what it is, and so now the final decision is up to the town manager, and he interviewed directly I believe the final 2 candidates, and so now the decision lies with him. There are a lot of folks in town that have then contacting myself as well as the town manager and making sure that they are letting him know that they're for a particular candidate, primarily Diane. So there's been a lot of push in that direction. I'm not a fan of using a select board meeting. Always starts with a public open comment. I'm not a fan of using that to push, a certain subject matter or agenda. Because during the public comment, you only make a comment. There's no rebuttal to your comment allowed, right? So you just go up there and say your piece and step aside. So Chris Senior gets to hire folks in the town hall who he thinks best fits the duties that he sees. A lot of people don't realize we don't work full-time at the town. And we don't work full-time in the town hall. We don't work full-time in these departments around town. So we don't know what goes on during the course of business and how it is important to interact with other people and how the interrelations with the duties are around town. So, it takes a lot of thought to hiring somebody to put into a director's position. And this position is also a department head. So it's kind of weighted with the town manager as to who he wants to put in there. So I'm hopeful that the selection he makes is the one that I would like. And so we'll see if somebody speaks up again tonight. There's been a lot of people that have been pushing him in one direction, and sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes it can just dig somebody in.
Yeah, we went through a tough time with the police chief and fire chief selection. I'm not saying this rises to that level, but
Yeah.
I will be the first to say that I hate to be told what to do.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure a lot of people are similar in that manner. And hey, the town's going through some frustrating areas right now where they're moving people around constantly because of the town hall issues and people huddling up in different, cubicles and offices. And so even the sewer administrator that we have, I think she's down on the first floor now, sitting there with somebody. I don't know if she's in Cassandra. I don't know if she's in your office, Cassandra, or not, but she's.
No,
But she's-
I'm not in town hall anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. So she's.
Are you up on CJC?
I'm on King Street.
Oh, you are? I thought that was primarily police.
What hasn't been?
Right, right now, that's Pleasure Island. I will tell you that.
Oh
That's-
my gosh. I can't keep it straight. Who's where and why?
Well, that's just it. I mean, you have to allow the town manager some time to think things through, so it's just because we want somebody in there tomorrow doesn't mean, I'll stop what I'm doing and just do that one thing. So he's got a lot of things on his plate. So hopefully it's the outcome that we all want, is what we're shooting for. So see.
And the head librarian has moved over to be in charge of HR. So
Yeah.
So she's the former director of the library. So she's now HR, right? And then there's a new director in there. Correct.
does she
yeah.
have any experience in HR?
So you would have to go to her LinkedIn page to read her resume.
I guess that's a no.
How about minutes? We have to approve minutes.
Thank you. Reining that in. I didn't even see that on the agenda. Yes, a minute approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Good job, Beth. Aye, Susan.
Aye, ayes have it.
Hey, Cassandra, my husband was looking at stuff online last night and he said we're missing April 16th minutes on the lineup. He was very pleased because we're filling in our gaps, but he said April 16th wasn't there.
Interesting.
He's got too much time on his hands. He has too much time on his hands.
I know. Well, he was looking up the select board agenda and he happened
Yeah.
to be He goes, oh, let me see these other committees. And I was like, mind your own business.
No, that's,
Look at
I'm
my-
glad that you pointed that out. I will, I'll send that over to the clerk's office to.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I know, I know you've been I've been sending them and you've been sending them, so somebody, it didn't get through all the way.
Yep, no, I'm gonna do that right now so I don't forget.
Plug those holes while we can. Maybe if they only look back so far, they'll be like, oh, they're doing a good job.
I
They won't
know.
look further.
Paul, we should let you leave so you can
I
get
do.
home.
Yeah. Okay,
I just
let's
got a couple of
adjourn.
calls from Cohasset already, so,
Okay.
all right, guys, thanks.
Right,
Oh,
so
do I have
see
a
you
motion to, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Zoom.
adjourn.
Okay, so moved. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
ciao.
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye.